Here we are in Chicago, Illinois at Days of the Dead, and I have Sal Lizard, the wonderful gentleman who's played Santa Claus for many years, and he's played, what was the your title with the sharp pointy teeth?
Oh, the Vampire Santa.
Vampire Santa.
Yes.
I didn't want. I was all I could think of. He played the Vampire Santa, but I wasn't sure if that's what they actually called you. Anyhow, Vampire Santa. Sal, could you tell my viewers a little bit more about yourself?
Well, actually, I'm an actor, a stand-up comic, although sometimes I sit down. And I recently have started producing films. I have written a book, and I have my own internet radio talk show.
Really?
And yes.
What's it called? What's
The Wacky World of Sal Lizard. Yeah. And in that, what I do is, rather than focusing on any one thing like acting or directing or anything, I'm very eclectic in my tastes, and I consider myself a Renaissance man. So what I do is, if I find a topic that interests me, I try to find some people to bring in to talk to about it, and it may have nothing to do with what you would expect from me. You know, for instance, I said one of the things I might want to do is to do a show where we talk about the different types of diets, you know, and let somebody who's definitely a carnivore compare his the aspects of his diet to maybe a vegetarian, or why would veganism be better, or now a lot of people are starting to eat foods that are raw and uncooked. And of course, me personally, I'm a vegetarian, and why are there no vegetarian restaurants out there? You know, closest thing I found is a strip club, but they won't let you eat the buffet. So, you know, so you know, that kind of thing. The Wacky World of Sal Lizard.
All right then. So tell me about your book.
Oh, my book. Well, my book is called Being Santa Claus. Now, I started off acting as Santa a little over 20 years ago. And I didn't take any classes. I didn't read any books. I just was given the suit and asked to portray Santa. And I thought I did the best I could with what little knowledge I had. And even though I thought I knew a lot about Santa, I found out I was woefully unprepared. So, along the way, I made mistakes and I learned from them, and I had some very interesting experiences with children. So, Being Santa Claus is a book that covers that 20-year span with some of my more interesting stories and, where appropriate, lessons that I learned from those particular stories. Some of it's just strictly fun. It's been reviewed, and mostly it's gotten 5-star reviews. People have said that it will make you laugh, that parts of it are hilarious, but it will also bring a tear to even the toughest person's eye. That's my book.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. So where do you plan on going from here?
Well, from here I'm going to go to Indianapolis. No, I know what you mean, though. You know, I started acting because I was in the IT world, and with the .com bubble burst, I had to reinvent myself. And people told me I couldn't just decide to become an actor, and here I am, 10 years later, and I've been in over 3 dozen films. I don't know where I'm going in the future, but I do know that the path that I've chosen is that I'd like to produce films, a few more, because I'd like to put both my union fellow SAG members and a lot of the up-and-coming talent to work in some of the projects that have been presented to me for consideration. I'm really excited about this book, and if it does well, they've asked me to do a sequel, and they've even asked me if I might be interested in doing a couple of children's books. Now,
very cool.
I'm hoping that this book also propels me forward in the fact that a lot of people don't know who I am. I've been in over 3 dozen films, but a lot of people don't notice me because I'm one of those background actors. But I'm hoping that this book will bring attention to me, bring attention to the fact that I'm a Santa. Maybe I could do some commercials. Maybe you might find me in a couple of Santa movies in the future. In either case, whatever I do, I'm going to have fun in the process.
I have no doubt about that. Well, Sal, I like to close my interviews with giving a person the opportunity to tell me something weird and wonderful about themselves or about their projects. So, got an interesting anecdote for your fans?
Well, I tell you this, I was raised by a single mother. I was born in Kentucky, but if you have an IQ in Kentucky, they make you leave at an early age. So what happened was, when I was a year and a half old, my mother moved me and my family to Indianapolis, Indiana. Now, she had divorced my dad, of course, and I grew up not knowing the fellow. Well, while it may sound not necessarily wonderful, last year my mother died. But my aunt came to the funeral and told me, she says, I'm taking care of your father in the nursing home that I work at. I'd never met my father.
Wow.
So I decided to go and meet him. And the word, of course, got back to him that I was coming. And then the next thing I know, I'm sitting one night and I'm on Facebook, and a little window pops up and this gal says, you may be my brother.
Really?
And what I found out is, not only did I have a dad in Franklin, Kentucky, but I also had 3 sisters I didn't know anything about. And since then, I've gone down and I've met them, and and I've been embraced, and it's a wonderful experience, and we've gotten to be really close. But that's not the weird part. The weird part is this: my dad, had white hair and a white beard, and he wasn't really a Santa, but as a matter of fact, a lot of people called him more of a Grinch. But his nickname in Franklin, Kentucky, where he was well known, was Frosty. Now, the interesting thing about my dad, Frosty, is that he was born on Christmas Day. So here I am growing up completely separate from him, and I turn out to be a professional Santa. Not exactly weird, just kind of ironic. The fun thing, though, is this. Earlier this year, I ran into a little boy, and he saw me, and of course he saw me as Santa. And he looked at me, and he said, Santa, where's Frosty? And without thinking, I said, oh, he's in an air-conditioned facility in Franklin, Kentucky. And the little boy said to me, really? And eyes wide, and I said, of course, it's July. He would have to be in an air-conditioned place. And the little young man said, oh, okay. And he was happy with that. But I thought, I better not tell people that Santa's dad is Frosty.
Right.
It just wouldn't make sense.
No, absolutely not. Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And from Chicago, Illinois, and Days of the Dead, this has been the Weird Review.
Thank you.
The end.